Chapter 611. At this time, the flight attendants on the plane also noticed that there was a fight and quickly called for the police. Two police officers quickly ran over and glared at Xiao Chen. "Why are you fighting on the plane? These three are swindlers. Arrest them. After the plane lands, send them to the airport police station," Xiao Chen said to the two policemen. The two policemen were stunned. They did not believe Xiao Chen's words and looked at Xiao Chen suspiciously. At this time, Xia Shibin had the awareness of being a lackey. He rushed forward and pulled one of the policemen to the side. Then he took out his ID and said, "Officer, I'm from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. That's our team leader. This is my ID." The policeman was stunned. After carefully looking at Xia Shibin's ID, he nodded his head and believed him. Since Xiao Chen was the team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, then his words were naturally convincing. He quickly whispered a few words to the other policemen and took the three people on the ground away. On the other hand, Lan Xinxin was a little puzzled. Why did these two policemen believe Xiao Chen's words? He didn't even ask much and just took them away. Could it be that these three were repeat offenders? So the police immediately recognized that there was a problem with them? Yes, that must be it, Lan Xinxin thought. These things came and went quickly. In the blink of an eye, they had calmed down. Even the passengers on the plane did not understand what was going on. Although everyone saw the fight, the three of them were quickly taken away by the police. They were all discussing whether or not the three of them were wanted criminals. Why are you fine? Lan Xinxin was a little strange. It seemed like Xiao Chen had beaten him up, but nothing had happened. The police seemed to trust him a lot. "Do you want something to happen to me?" Xiao Chen asked. "That's not it." Lan Xinxin quickly shook her head and said, "Thank you very much. I was almost deceived. I really didn't know that you were a rich person. You actually have 10 million? If I had known earlier, I would have asked you for 10 million yuan just now." Xiao Chen said. Then there's really a problem there?" Lan Xinxin was shocked and looked at Xiao Chen worriedly. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. How could this silly girl not know what was a joke? No wonder she was so gullible. That big brother Chen specifically chose her. "No problem for the time being," Xiao Chen said. "Oh, then I'll tell you my cell phone number. If you have a problem there, be sure to call me. I'll help you find a way." Lan Xinxin said quickly and told him her cell phone number. Okay. Xiao Chen wrote down the number, but he definitely wouldn't call her because of this. "What about you?" Lan Xinxin asked again. "Forget about me. If there's nothing else, I won't look for you." Xiao Chen didn't want to contact this silly girl again. "No way. If there's something wrong there, and you're embarrassed to tell me, I will feel bad," Lan Xinxin said quickly. Xiao Chen had no choice but to tell her his way number. "I always change my cell phone number. You can add this. Then I will add it when the plane lands." Lan Xinxin nodded. "Thank you very much just now. I was almost blackmailed by that person. It's nothing. It's just a convenience." Xiao Chen waved his hand. "Right, what's your name?" "I still don't know yet. My name is Lan Xinxin." Lan Xinxin introduced herself. "Also, what are you doing in Tianfang province? Where are you from? Are you from Songning?" "Xiao Chang. I'm from Songning. I'm going to do something." Xiao Chen answered briefly. "I see. I'm going to Tianfang province to play. If you have nothing to do, why don't you come with me?" Lan Xinxin invited. "Go with you?" Xiao Chen was stunned. "Are you really stupid or pretending to be stupid? You were almost cheated just now. You still want to invite a strange man to play with you? Aren't you afraid of being cheated into bed?" Lan Xinxin didn't expect Xiao Chen to say this. "I think you are a good person. I hurt you, but you didn't take the opportunity to threaten me. If it were Brother Chen, he would probably ask me for a huge compensation, right? Moreover, I said that I would help you check, but you didn't want to. I think you are a gentleman. You wouldn't lie to me to sleep, right?" Xiao Chen listened to Lan Xinxin's analysis. He didn't know if it was because her logical thinking was strong or because she was too simple. It was a miracle that she could live to this age without anything happening to her. "Lan Xinxin, let me give you a piece of advice. I'm not a good person. A silly girl like you is more likely to arouse a man's desire to conquer. If you keep doing this, I might really push you down. Xiaochen said directly. Don't trust others so easily. If you don't know them, do you know what they are thinking? NN. My brother used to accompany me out, but he has something to do this time. Also, I can tell that he doesn't want to play with me. Every day, he thinks about fighting for power and how to be the young master of the family. He thinks that I'm too childish. Lan Xinxin said gloomily, but I know that Brother Xiaochang is a good person. If you were really a bad person, you wouldn't have said so much to me, and you wouldn't have reminded me. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes, bad people also need to disguise themselves. Xiaochen said, look at Brother Chen just now. His attitude is completely different from before. It's like he's a different person. What do you think? This, Lan Xinxin thought about it. It was indeed the case. Brother Chen was very warm and acted very generous and approachable. In fact, it was to carry out his scam plan. Thinking of this, Lan Xinxin was a little silent. It's really difficult to get along with people. Can't you be more honest? You better not go out by yourself in the future. Hurry up and go home. Find a good person to marry. Stay at home and take care of your husband and children. Don't go out and run around. It's too dangerous outside. Xiaochen didn't know what to say, so he could only persuade her like this. Oh, Lan Xinxin nodded. She tilted her head and frowned slightly. She looked like she couldn't figure it out. Xiaochen ignored her and read the newspaper on his own as he passed the rest of the journey. As for Lan Xinxin, she could also tell that Xiaochen didn't want to continue talking to her. She could only listen to her MP3 player in boredom. The plane landed. She took out her phone and added Xiaochen's Weixin. When she got off the plane, Lan Xinxin still greeted Xiaochen. Brother Xiao, I'm leaving. You have to contact me. This sentence happened to be heard by Song Huawu. Xia Shibin quickly blinked at Xiaochen. Xiaochen was inexplicable when he heard Song Huawu ask, who is she? Are you hooking up with a girl on the plane? Aren't there any beautiful women at home? Xiaochen was stunned. You mean Cheng Menjing? Xia Shibin found it a little funny, but it wasn't appropriate to interrupt. Your eyesight isn't good. Who have you been sleeping with every day recently? Song Huawu glared at Xiaochen. Seeing that he still had an inexplicable expression, she suddenly stomped her feet in anger. Me? You are Yang Jianan now, okay? You should be flirting with me, not flirting with other little girls. Oh, Xiaochen suddenly realized. He suddenly remembered that his identity was indeed Yang Jianan. Yang Jianan pursued Song Huawu very closely, but why did Song Huawu's attitude just now seem a little off? It seems like she's jealous. What's with the oh? If you don't want to expose yourself, be more attentive. Quick, help me carry my bag. Song Huawu handed her bag to Xiaochen. Xiaochen and Xia Shibin didn't have any luggage. Only Song Huawu had a big bag of things. Men and women were different when they went out. They still had to bring all kinds of clothes. Even Song Huawu was no exception. The three of them called a taxi at the airport and went to the venue of the fellowship party. The reception was in a 5-star hotel. This was a hotel operated by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's headquarters in Tianfeng Province. Usually, there were some meetings, get-togethers, and people from the branch who came on business trips. At other times, it would also be open to the public and earn some mission funds. However, the fellowship party hadn't started yet. It would only be held tomorrow night. The few of them arrived first, so they naturally booked a room and checked in. Here, there was no need for Xiaochen and Song Huawu to stay in the same room. It wasn't good to be too intimate. The three of them went upstairs and settled down in the room. They prepared to eat something. There was a buffet that was provided all day and could be enjoyed by guests at any time. Due to the special nature of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's mission, they didn't have to come at a certain time. Everyone didn't have a regular meal, so they set up such a 24-hour restaurant. As for the other staff working at the headquarters, they could also come here to eat their meals. After all, it was sometimes late at night when they got off work. It wasn't easy to find a place to eat. Even if there was one, it might not be to their liking. In the spacious restaurant, there were 2 neat rows of buffet tables in the middle. They were filled with all kinds of alcohol and delicacies. There was a wide variety of them, and it was very complete. It was as if the special snacks of various places could be found here. When Xiao Chun smelled the aroma of the food, his appetite was immediately aroused. He had only been given some small food on the plane, but it wasn't enough. He was hungry too, so he picked up the plate and started to put things in it. In the restaurant, on the side of the floor-to-ceiling window, was the table and chair area. At that moment, many people were sitting there, eating and chatting. However, there were a few young people sitting at a table near the corner. When Xiao Chun and the others came in, they immediately saw them. "Brother Da, isn't that Song Huawu?" One of the young men immediately said. "Yes, I saw her. But why is she talking and laughing with Yang Jiannan? Didn't they have a bad relationship in the past?" The person called Brother Da's expression immediately turned ugly. He was also a suitor of Song Huawu. Previously, although he knew that Yang Jiannan had been pursuing Song Huawu didn't respond at all. Therefore, he didn't treat Yang Jiannan as a competitor. Chapter 6:12. In his opinion, as long as Song Huawu didn't like Yang Jiannan, he would be able to win her over sooner or later. But today, he felt a sense of crisis. This won't do. Looking at the situation, did the relationship between the two become better? Yeah, I also heard that the relationship between them is very bad. In the past, they didn't go together at the annual gathering. Yang Jiannan was with Xia Shibin. The young man nodded. "Little Ma, let's go and say hello." Brother Da couldn't sit still. He stood up and said to the young man, "Okay." Little Ma naturally followed Brother Da's lead. Xiao Chun, Song Huawu, and Xia Shibin just took the food and found a seat to sit down. Then they saw someone come over to say hello. Seeing the person, Song Huawu frowned slightly. Xia Shibin lowered his voice and said to Xiao Chun, "Brother Yang, your love rival is here." "Love rival?" Xiao Chun was slightly stunned. "What love rival?" "The man in front is called Pang Fengda. He is the leader of the newcomer training group of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. The one behind him is his follower, who is the same role as me. His name is Ma Jisheng." Xia Shibin quickly introduced. "Newcomer training group leader? What position is that?" However, after Xiao Chun asked, before Xia Shibin could answer, the two people came over. "Huawu team leader Yang, you are here?" Pang Fengda deliberately put Yang Jiannan at the back. Obviously, he didn't put Yang Jiannan in his eyes. As for his identity as the deputy team leader of Team B, he probably didn't know yet. "Huawu, why didn't you say hello? I'm going to pick you up." Pang Fengda's words and actions were very appropriate and passionate. However, he didn't look at Xiao Chun at all. His eyes were fixed on Song Huawu. "Who is this?" Xiao Chun stood up. He wanted to say hello to this colleague, but he didn't expect that he didn't even look at him. He was a little angry. "You mother ***. I'm giving you face. Who do you think you are?" When Song Huawu heard Xiao Chun's words, her heart skipped a beat. She didn't expect Xiao Chun to be so disrespectful. Wasn't this going to ruin their relationship? What's more, Yang Jiannan used to retreat whenever he saw Pang Fengda. He wasn't Pang Fengda's opponent at all. Now that he suddenly became so arrogant, wasn't there a problem? And Xiao Chun's words also surprised Pang Fengda. "What's wrong with this guy today? How dare he challenge me?" The follower called Xiaoma also widened his eyes. He poked Pang Fengda lightly and said, "Brother Da, how did this kid become so awesome? Is there a problem?" When Xiao Chun saw that Song Huawu was also looking at him with such a surprised expression, he immediately knew that it was not good. He reckoned that Yang Jiannan must have been very afraid of this person in front of him in the past. Otherwise, they wouldn't have such an expression. But how would Xiao Chun know this before? He saw that Yang Jiannan was so awesome wherever he went, and he had Xia Zhili as his backer. He thought that Yang Jiannan was awesome wherever he went. It seemed that he was wrong. However, he also reacted quickly. "Huawu, doesn't he know that I'm now the deputy leader of Team B of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? I'm waiting to take over now. Don't tell me he doesn't know. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Our brother Yang is now the deputy leader of Team B. He will be the leader soon." Xia Shibin also immediately said in cooperation. Xiao Chun's explanation was reasonable. Sure enough, Pang Fengda's face showed a look of realization. It turned out that Yang Jianan was so awesome, because he was appointed as the deputy leader of Team B. He really didn't know. After all, this matter hadn't been spread yet. But he knew that Yang Jianan and Song Huawu went on a mission a while ago, and won a great victory. It must be because of this. Hee, deputy leader of Team B? Is it amazing? Pang Fengda smiled faintly and said disdainfully. I can tell you that even some of the people in Team A graduated under me. Yang Jianan, don't tell me that you think you're amazing just because you're promoted? Brother Da, he's just overconfident. If he's capable, fight with Brother Da. Won't you beat him up? Xiaoma chuckled at the side. It's easy and fun for me to beat you, but I don't have time to bother with you. Since Xiao Chun was already arrogant, he had to persist. If he backed out halfway, it would be even more suspicious. Huawu, don't bother with him. Let's eat. Great Yang Jianan, you're great. Pang Fengda saw that Xiao Chun ignored him, and he suddenly became furious. Tonight, in the hotel's basement practice room, I want to challenge you. Do you dare? In the past, every time Pang Fengda mentioned a challenge, Yang Jianan would be scared **class. He would either find an excuse to avoid it, or he would simply hide behind Xia Zhili. He didn't dare to accept the challenge, so Pang Fengda directly proposed a challenge. Now they were in the buffet restaurant. Although he was annoyed, he didn't lose his mind. If he made a move here, he would definitely be punished. Whether he won or lost, he had already lost. I'm not going. Xiao Chun shook his head and said, I want to eat. Why? Yang Jianan, are you afraid? When Pang Fengda heard it, he raised his head proudly. With an arrogant look, he looked down on Xiao Chun and said, Weren't you quite arrogant just now? Why did you become a tortoise when I mentioned a challenge? Xiao Chun refused, and even Xia Shibin was stunned. He looked at him with some doubts. Xia Shibin knew Xiao Chun's temper better. Isn't this guy very overbearing and never admits defeat? Moreover, he had a strong look just now. Why did he suddenly shrink back? At this time, Xiao Chun said indifferently, I'm not afraid of you. Do you think I should challenge just because you say so? Why should I listen to you? Xiao Chun's words made Pang Fengda speechless. Thinking about it, what Xiao Chun said was right. Why should I listen to you? However, he still said, Don't say these useless things. Just say if you dare or not. I dare. After Xiao Chun finished speaking, he began to eat. This made Pang Fengda very angry. If you dare, then why don't you continue? I waited for you for a long time. And you're eating? So he couldn't help but ask. Since you dare, then let's challenge at 10 o'clock tonight in the practice room below the hotel. See you there. Oh, I'm not going, said Xiao Chun. You. Pang Fengda was furious. Yang Jianan, are you playing with me? Don't think that I don't dare to do anything to you in the restaurant. When we get out of the restaurant, do you believe that I will secretly kill you? Oh, I don't believe it, said Xiao Chun. You. Can't you say 2 more words? Pang Fengda didn't expect Yang Jianan to be so irritating. Is this guy on the wrong medicine? In the past he would hide when he saw me. Why is he so arrogant today? Even if he is the deputy leader of Team B of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he doesn't have to be like this, right? Oh, **CK your mother, said Xiao Chun. Why yeah. Pang Fengda jumped 3 feet high and pointed at Xiao Chun. He shouted angrily, I want to challenge you to a life and death battle. Do you dare? The so-called life and death battle was actually a rule of the martial arts world. Ordinary people didn't know about it, but the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was considered half a martial arts organization. Usually, many people's style was also martial arts. As for the life and death battle, it was a life and death battle written by one party to the other. As long as one accepted the battle, then one could ignore life and death, but one could also refuse. However, the party who refused could not appear in front of the other party in the future. He had to hide and be a coward for the rest of his life. Oh, okay, said Xiao Chun. I know you don't dare. In the future, don't let me see you again, and don't pester Song Huawu. Ha! Pang Fengda was stunned. What did you say just now? Oh, I said that you are deaf, said Xiao Chun. **CK. Pang Fengda suppressed his anger and said, Well, since you agreed, Then let's have a life and death battle at 10 o'clock in the practice room below the hotel. See you there. Oh, I'm not going, said Xiao Chen. You dare to fool me? Pang Fengde was about to go berserk. No. Xiao Chen wiped his mouth and finally finished eating. Then he said, what I hate the most is what others say. You said 10 o'clock, so it's 10 o'clock? I'm not free. If you want to challenge, do it now. Also, you said it's in the underground practice room. So it's in the underground practice room? I have a phobia of low altitude. I don't like basements. As soon as Xiao Chen said this, the people next to him were all very speechless. What Xiao Chen said at the beginning was a little reasonable, but the phobia of low altitude was obviously nonsense. They had heard of people who were afraid of heights, but they had never heard of people who were afraid of low altitude. However, Xia Shibin didn't care about this. He jumped out and directly said, yes, why do you say it's at what time? It's at what place? Our team leader's time is precious. Well, then you say the time and where. Is that okay? Pang Fengde wasn't eloquent. He was speechless after being said by Xiao Chen. Although he was annoyed, he felt that it was reasonable, so he could only ask patiently. I think it's on the rooftop of the hotel. After I kill you, I can still see the night view. Xiao Chen said, it's just right. I'm full. Let's go and digest the food. Okay, if you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Pang Fengde didn't care about those things with Xiao Chen. As long as the goal was achieved, what was the point of letting him be eloquent? Oh, do we have to sign an agreement? When you die, what if someone comes to settle the account with me? Said Xiao Chen. That can't be done. There are so many witnesses. Pang Fengde said. As for you, I think you have to write a written agreement. Oh, then let's do it in duplicate. Both sides sign it. Xiao Chen said. This is also fair and just. Okay, Little Ma, you draft a life and death agreement. Pang Fengde said to Little Ma. Okay, Brother Da. Little Ma nodded and lowered his head to draft the life and death agreement. He was familiar with these things. In the newcomer training group, there were often some trainees who challenged each other. Chapter 6:13. Their principle was not to stop it, but to encourage it. This was because only students who had truly experienced life and death could successfully graduate and be qualified as agents. After all, what they did was some bloody missions. Soon, Xiao Ma wrote 2 life and death contracts and placed them in front of Xiao Chen and Pang Fengde. Okay, sign it. Pang Fengde sneered and looked at Xiao Chen. Oh, I won't sign it, said Xiao Chen. What? Pang Fengde was mad. You sign it first, then I'll sign it. Xiao Chen said calmly. Why should I sign it just because you tell me to? Fine. Pang Fengde snorted and ignored Xiao Chen. He was already numb. He signed it and then looked at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen also signed the life and death contract and said, okay, Xia Shibin, help me keep a copy. Let's go up. Hee, but don't worry, when the time comes, if you kneel and beg for mercy, I can consider not beating you to death. Pang Fengde raised his head provocatively at Xiao Chen and said, however, disability is inevitable. Oh, since you are so kind, then I won't kill you, said Xiao Chen. You have a sharp tongue. Pang Fengde curled his lips. What? You won't be willing if I don't kill you? Xiao Chen snorted. Fine, then leave it to fate. Young Jiannan, if you have the ability, then kill us. If you don't have the ability, then don't brag, okay? Ma Jisheng was on the side and said disdainfully, don't run away in fear later. Xiao Chen shrugged his shoulders indifferently and said, I won't run, but I'm afraid that he will run. I guess once I make a move he will disappear. Pang Fengde was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He wasn't a match for Xiao Chen in terms of words, and he was constantly being mocked by Xiao Chen. He couldn't help but angrily say, what else can you do besides shooting off your mouth? Xiao Chen said with a smile, I'll beat you to death. Okay, the elevator will be here soon. This elevator can go straight to the rooftop. At that time, we will compete on the rooftop. Pang Fengde didn't want to argue with Xiao Chen, so he said this. Oh, it's so slow to take the elevator. Xiao Chen looked at the emergency staircase on the side. Let's take the stairs. When Ma Jisheng heard this, he couldn't help but laugh out loud. I say, Yang Jiannan, you haven't even started fighting, and your brain is already failing? Can the stairs be faster than the elevator? What if I say yes? Xiao Chen asked back to provoke him. If there is, I will eat the elevator. Ma Jisheng said disdainfully. Even if you eat the hotel building, it has nothing to do with me. I have no benefits at all, Xiao Chen said. Then what do you want? Ma Jisheng finally found a loophole in what he thought was Xiao Chen's words, so he directly grasped it. Me. How about this? You take the elevator and I take the stairs. If I'm faster than you give me some money. Right, Xia Shibin, how much money does this guy have? Xiao Chen squinted and asked sneakily. Him. He usually hangs around behind Pang Fengda. His salary and bonuses are all saved. He doesn't need to spend much. It's estimated that he has 5 million yuan. Xia Shibin estimated based on his own situation. Okay, then 5 million yuan. If I lose, I will also give you 5 million yuan. How about it? Xiao Chen laughed. Oh. Ma Jisheng calculated for a moment. The elevator in this hotel was the kind that went straight up. The speed was very fast. Even if someone called for the elevator halfway, it wouldn't take much time. If Xiao Chen climbed to the 40th floor from here, he was afraid that he would be tired. He definitely couldn't win. Moreover, in this way, Xiao Chen's physical strength would be consumed. In the next competition with Pang Fengda, he would definitely not have an advantage. So why not? Sure enough, Pang Fengda also calculated this point. He said directly to Ma Jisheng, bet with him. If you lose, it's on me. Okay, Yang Jiannan. Since you are willing, try it. After Ma Jisheng finished speaking, he pointed at Xia Shibin and said, but in a while when we get in the elevator, you are not allowed to mess around. You can't press the button on every floor. That is cheating. Seeing that Xiao Chen didn't care, Xia Shibin said, no problem. Okay, the elevator is here. Let's split up. Xiao Chen saw the elevator light up and walked to the stairwell. At the moment when the elevator door opened, he also rushed into the safety stairwell. The few of them entered the elevator and pressed the button for the top floor. To Pang Fengda and Ma Jisheng's surprise, no one seemed to be calling the elevator at this time. Their elevator whizzed all the way to the 10th floor without stopping even once. Haha, this time, Yang Jiannan will definitely lose. Ma Jisheng was so happy that his face was blooming. Then brother De, the 5 million that you won. It's yours. Pang Fengda waved his hand and said confidently. In front of Song Huawu, he had to be more generous. Song Huawu graduated from the newcomer training group. When he and Song Huawu were in the same batch, he always had a good impression of Song Huawu. Moreover, the most important thing was that Pang Fengda could also see that their old team leader instructor seemed to be related to Song Huawu. He didn't know the specifics, but if he could be related to Song Huawu, he would definitely be successful in the future. Because this relationship was very secretive, others didn't know about it. Even he only found out about it occasionally. Therefore, he deliberately performed well and won the old team leader's appreciation, which was why he was promoted to the current team leader. He didn't know if Yang Jiannan knew about this situation, but he couldn't ask. However, all these years, he was determined to get Song Huawu. But because of this relationship, he didn't dare to use force. Otherwise, wouldn't he, Pang Fengda, get the woman he liked? However, he didn't dare to. Even if he was already an expert at the 4th level of martial arts, he didn't dare to be so rash. The old team leader could still kill him with a slap. The elevator reached the top floor. When the elevator door opened, Pang Fengda, who was the strongest and had the highest status, went down first. He walked out of the elevator proudly, and Ma Jisheng followed closely behind. However, as soon as he walked out of the elevator, Pang Fengda's crotch was kicked. Before the elevator door opened completely, he felt a sharp pain in his lower body. He immediately covered his crotch and squatted on the ground. The pain made his head full of sweat. The people who saw this scene from behind were all stunned. They never thought that Xiao Chen would actually be standing outside the elevator at this moment, calm and unruffled. What kind of speed was this? Not only was he faster than the elevator, but he also arrived early and stood at the door waiting to ambush them. This speed was simply unimaginable. Hey, didn't I tell you just now? You guys aren't as fast as me, but you still don't believe me. Hurry up and give me the money. Xiao Chen directly walked past Pang Fengda and extended his hand to Ma Jisheng, who was standing next to him in shock. This, Ma Jisheng originally thought that he would win for sure. But how did he lose? His smile was a little frozen. He looked at Pang Fengda, who was groaning in pain on the ground. He didn't want to ask for money, so he suddenly felt a little embarrassed. He was in a dilemma. Xia Shibin and Song Huawu looked at each other at this time. The corners of their mouths were raised, and their faces showed a speechless smile at the same time. Xiao Chen really won, but they didn't understand how Xiao Chen's speed was so fast. It was simply indescribable. What? You don't want to admit it? Xiao Chen squinted at Ma Jisheng. Do you want me to give you a kick too? Ma Jisheng looked at Pang Fengda's miserable appearance on the ground, and suddenly his head was full of sweat. If he were to be kicked, wouldn't he die from the pain? His strength was much worse than Pang Fengda's. A kick could probably cripple him. He didn't dare to try it casually. I will give it to you later. I don't have my bank card with me now, Ma Jisheng said. Oh, okay. Then I will give you a little more time. That Pang Fengda, do you still want to compete? If you don't, I will take it as you admit defeat. Stay away from me in the future. Xiao Chen pointed at Pang Fengda on the ground and shouted. Ma Jisheng was a little speechless. I have seen shameless people, but I have never seen such a shameless person. You have already kicked him like that, and you still want him to compete? Can't you let him rest for a while? Sure enough, Pang Fengda was also trembling with anger. His body's internal strength was surging, and white smoke was coming out of his head. Obviously, he was extremely angry. Oh my God, what's going on? Xiao Chen looked at Pang Fengda and said strangely, why is there smoke? What kind of strange martial art is this? It even has the function of spontaneous combustion? Why yeah. Pang Fengda jumped directly from the ground. Yang Jiannan, I will fight with you. Don't. You put out the fire first. Don't burn it later. If you burn the hotel, I will be implicated. Xiao Chen retreated again and again. If you can't burn the hotel, it's not good to burn the flowers and plants. Are you afraid? Seeing Xiao Chen retreating again and again, Pang Fengda regained his confidence at this moment. He felt that Xiao Chen was afraid of him. Otherwise, why would he retreat? This is just a villain who likes to talk and sneak attack. Thinking of this, Pang Fengda pressed forward step by step. He directly forced Xiao Chen to the edge of the top floor. Seeing that he had nowhere to retreat, he would fall down if he retreated any further. Ha, Yang Jiannan, are you going to jump off the building? Pang Fengda said with a sneer. Of course not. Xiao Chen instantly changed his direction. How could his speed be compared to that of an ordinary martial artist? He made a big circle and went behind Pang Fengda. Then 2 compressed wind balls were released from his hands. The compressed wind balls instantly exploded and turned into 2 hurricanes, rushing towards Pang Fengda. Pang Fengda was just approaching Xiao Chen, and he was very close to the edge of the top floor. So when he saw Xiao Chen run away, he felt 2 huge hurricanes sweeping towards him as soon as he turned his head. He was pushed a few steps back, and he staggered. With a scream, he fell directly from the 48th floor. Aya, I helped you to put out the fire. Why did you jump off the building? Xiao Chen shook his head, and his face was inexplicable. This person is really strange. Sure enough, I was right. When I made a move, he disappeared. Chapter 614. The wind ball didn't actually cause much damage to the enemy. Xiao Chen rarely used it in battle. It was only recently researched. It could only push people away or roll them up, but it couldn't hurt the enemy. However, when used in this environment, it could achieve miraculous effects. Ma Jisheng was dumbstruck as he looked at Pang Fengda, who had fallen from the rooftop. He hurriedly rushed over, wanting to see how Pang Fengda was doing. However, when he ran to the edge, he was afraid that Xiao Chen would hit him again. With Pang Fengda's strength, he probably wouldn't die from falling from such a high building. However, if it was Ma Jisheng, it would be hard to say. This was the 48th floor. Stop the fight. I have already lost the bet. I will give you the money later. You can't do anything to me. Ma Jisheng shouted at Xiao Chen. Oh, okay. Xiao Chen said indifferently. You aren't on fire. I don't have to waste my energy to help you put out the fire. Ma Jisheng hurried to the edge of the rooftop and looked down. He found that Pang Fengda had fallen into the grass below with his arms wide open. His body was deep in the soil, and he didn't know if he was dead or alive. He was so scared that he quickly ran back and wanted to take the elevator downstairs to see the situation. At this time, there was already a commotion downstairs. After all, there weren't only people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau staying here. There were also some ordinary guests. They were scared when they saw someone suddenly jump off the building. Xiaochen, did you really? Song Ho couldn't help but be worried. It's okay. He won't die. He is a 4th-level martial artist. How can he die so easily? At most, he will be disabled, Xiaochen said indifferently. Is this person very powerful? AI, he also has a backer in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and his backer is also someone who has helped me. Song Ho suddenly felt a little embarrassed. It's the instructor I told you about. He also values Pang Fengda very much. He also hopes that I can be with him. Really? Xiaochen frowned. He didn't expect there to be such a relationship. He didn't want Song Huawu to be put in a difficult position. He thought that Pang Fengda was just a simple pursuer of Song Huawu. But now it seemed that there was a connection. It's fine. Everyone knows that I'm Xia Zhili's man, and I had conflicts with him in the past. That's true. Song Huawu nodded. Forget it. As long as he doesn't die, he should be fine. Of course, the 3 of them weren't here to watch the night view. Since there was nothing else, they took the elevator downstairs, but they didn't go to see Pang Fengda. Instead, they returned to the room. Just as Xiaochen had said, Pang Fengda had not died. It was just that the bones in his 4 limbs were broken. He was a 4th-layer martial master, so how could he have died so easily? Especially when he fell on a soft place like the lawn. Brother Da, are you okay? Ma Jixing quickly helped Pang Fengda up. I'm fine. Although Pang Fengda was covered in dirt, and his limbs were in pain, he was the leader of the newcomer training group of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Naturally, he couldn't be weak at this time. Nearby, many people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau had come to watch the show. That's good. Ma Jixing breathed a sigh of relief. Although Pang Fengda looked disheveled, it was good that he was fine. Help me to the hospital. Pang Fengda whispered in Ma Jixing's ear. Ma Jixing's heart tightened, but on the surface he said loudly, Okay, let's go for supper. As he said that, he helped Pang Fengda leave. The guests of the hotel saw that the person seemed fine, so they didn't continue to watch and dispersed. Pang Fengda went to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's specialized hospital and applied some special medicine used by martial artists. He only had a bone fracture, but there was no fracture. So after the special medicine was applied, he only needed to tighten the gauze. There was no need to put on a cast. At this time, a man in a black suit pushed open the door of the ward and quickly walked in. He said loudly, Old Pang, how is it? Is there anything wrong? It's Old Wang. The person who came was Wang Chaik, a good friend of Pang Fengda, in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He was also the deputy team leader of Team B. It could be said that he was currently on the same level as Xiaochen. Don't mention it. I was tricked. What happened? When I just arrived at the hotel, I heard someone say that you jumped off the building. Although everyone said that you looked fine, some people said that you were forcing yourself. I thought about it, so I came to our hospital. When I asked, you were really here, said Wang Chaik. Xiaoma, tell me. Pang Fengda didn't hide anything from Wang Chaik and let Xiaoma speak directly. Xiaoma told him everything that had happened, including how he was tricked by Yang Jiannan on the rooftop. This Yang Jiannan has been very active recently, Wang Chaik said after listening. Didn't he just make a contribution and get promoted to the deputy team leader of Team B? How dare he treat you like this? Yeah, I'm also very puzzled. However, I heard that he is rushing to take over the position of team leader of Team B. It's understandable that he is arrogant. Pang Fengda frowned and said, Old Wang, I don't want to criticize you, but haven't you always been fighting for the position of team leader of Team B? Are you willing to give it to someone else? Of course I'm not willing, but I heard that Deputy Bureau Chief Xia Zhili will take over Team B after the new year. At that time, Team B will be his. That Yang Jiannan is his man. Speaking of this, Wang Chaik was a little annoyed. He was the veteran deputy team leader of Team B. He thought that this time, he would be able to take over the position. However, he didn't expect that someone would come out of nowhere and replace him. We have to think of something. If we can get Yang Jiannan down, it will be good for both of us. Pang Fengde said. I heard that his relationship with Hua Wu is also very close recently. Old Pang, do you have a good plan? Wang Chake suddenly became interested. Both of them had benefits, so naturally, they wanted to get rid of Yang Jiannan. Not yet, but let's discuss it. As long as he makes some unforgivable mistakes, even if Xia Zhili wants to promote him, it will be impossible. Pang Fengde said. We can make a fool of him or ruin his reputation. In this way, even if Xia Zhili supports us, it will be useless. And, your idea is right, but how do we do it? Wang Chake nodded. Tomorrow at the sorority, let's see if we can make a fool of him. If he makes a fool of himself at the sorority, and embarrass himself in front of all the higher-ups of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, then Xia Zhili will no longer protect him, Pang Fengde said. But I can't think of any way to make a fool of him. I have a good idea, but I need your backer to send a message. Wang Chake thought about it and said. Oh, what do you say? Pang Fengde asked quickly. Let's first release the news that Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu are in a relationship, and then do this. Wang Chake said. With such a character, even if Xia Zhili supports him, it will be impossible for him to be promoted in the short term. At that time, your backer will say a few words. He will be finished. Good idea. Pang Fengde suddenly slapped his thigh happily after listening. Wonderful. Ouch. He was so excited that he forgot that his bones were broken. So he was in so much pain. Tonight's incident didn't attract too much attention. After all, Pang Fengde, the person involved, didn't say anything. What else could others say? However, everyone was concerned about another rumor. That was the beauty of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Song Huawu, was in a relationship. The person in love was actually her boss, Yang Jiannan, who she didn't like in the past. This news was explosive, but most people were just watching the fun. Anyway, this was just a rumor. Whether it was true or false, the person involved didn't explain. Who knew if it was true or false? The next night, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's sorority officially began. Today, the restaurant didn't accept any guests from outside. It had been booked by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiao Chun, Song Huawu, and Xia Xibin walked into the restaurant together. They greeted some colleagues they knew. In fact, Xiao Chun didn't know them, but under the hints of Song Huawu and Xia Xibin, Xiao Chun behaved very appropriately and didn't reveal any flaws. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. When Xiao Chun saw Xia Zhili, he naturally walked over quickly and greeted him. "En Jiannan, you're here. Very good. I heard that you and Huawu are already together? Not bad, congratulations. I still have something to do here. You guys go and play with those colleagues first." Xia Zhili smiled and said to Xiao Chun and the others. He was very satisfied that Xiao Chun came to greet him. This also made him proud, letting everyone know that Xiao Chun was his man, and that he had just completed a mission. Xiao Chun didn't say much. He agreed and walked to the food buffet with Song Huawu and Xia Xibin. He planned to take some food and find a place to sit down. Anyway, he didn't know most of the people, so he might as well find a corner to take a nap. Song Huawu wasn't the kind of person who liked to show off. She also took a fruit platter and sat in the corner with Xiao Chun and Xia Xibin. Yesterday, I don't know what happened to Pang Fengde. It seems that no one mentioned it. Song Huawu was a little strange. Since they came in, they hadn't heard any discussion about Pang Fengde. This is secondary. I saw a lot of people looking at us strangely. Also, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia said that we are dating. Who spread this news? What does that mean? Xiao Chen's sharp senses told him that something was amiss. Who cares? Everyone knows that we went to Lego Town in Europe to carry out a mission together. Recently we have been together. It's normal for there to be some rumors. Song Huawu didn't take it seriously. I don't even care. Why do you care? Forget it. It's fine. Xiao Chen shook his head. He felt that there must be something wrong with things. It wasn't like this yesterday, but it became like this today. There must be something strange. However, Xiao Chen only thought about it in his heart. He didn't say much to Song Huawu. Maybe he was thinking too much. If he said it, it would only add to Song Huawu's troubles. Chapter 6:15. Let's eat. The food provided here is really good. Xiao Chen looked at the food in front of him and said with appreciation. Song Huawu nodded and said, "That's for sure. Everyone is an elite of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. After a busy year, we have to reward everyone at the year-end party. Wasn't there a reward for the 3 armies in the past?" Xiao Chen nodded. When he was about to say something, he saw 3 people walking toward him. One of them walked a little awkwardly. His body was a little stiff like a robot. This person was Pang Fengda, who jumped off the building yesterday. Ma Jisheng was beside him. Xiao Chen didn't know the other person. Brother Yang. The other person is called Wang Chaik. He is the deputy leader of Team B. You should remember that you have seen him before. Xia Shibin quickly reminded him. And Xiao Chen nodded. It turns out that he is also in Team B like me. But why is he together with Pang Fengda? These 2 people seem to have a good relationship. Is he here to vent his anger for Pang Fengda? But it shouldn't be. If I'm just an ordinary member of Team B, it's reasonable. But I'm the deputy leader with him, so I'm on the same level. How can I vent my anger? While the 2 of them were talking, the 3 people had already come in front of Xiao Chen. Deputy Leader Yang, I'm afraid you are very disappointed to see me like this, right? Pang Fengda came over and said in a strange tone. He only had a slight bone fracture, and he had applied special medicine, so he was fine now. It was just that his posture was a little weird. Yeah, I'm really disappointed, said Xiao Chen. Then he deliberately paused and continued. You are the leader of the newcomer training group. You actually got injured when you fell. It's really disappointing. If it were me, I would definitely stand up immediately. Aren't you too weak? You. Pang Fengda listened to Xiao Chen's first sentence and was quite happy. He understood that Xiao Chen would be disappointed to see that he didn't die, but he didn't expect Xiao Chen to be disappointed with his weakness. Also, according to our agreement, although you didn't die yesterday, you lost. You have to hide when you see me in the future. Now that I'm here to attend the party, you can get lost. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and pointed to the door. Pang Fengda's expression was stagnant. He was thinking about how to punish Xiao Chen. He actually forgot about yesterday's challenge. He couldn't help but look a little ugly. Fortunately, he was also a quick-witted person. He looked at Ma Jisheng and let him decide. The reason why Ma Jisheng could become his follower was because he had some brains. Deputy Team Leader Yang, what you said is wrong. Yesterday, you helped our team leader Pang extinguish the fire, and then blew him down the building. Your battle was then suspended. Everyone is fine, which means that no one lost. Naturally, the agreement is invalid. Ma Jisheng rolled his eyes and said, I'm right? Hee, I knew you would be shameless. It's fine. I don't care. Xiao Chen shrugged. Alright, are you done with your fart? If you are done, get lost. Don't affect my mood to eat. Yang Jiannan, don't be too arrogant. At this time, Wang Chaik spoke. He looked at Xiao Chen and said, You and I are both deputy team leaders of Team B of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. And I'm a veteran deputy team leader. You should be more humble in front of me. Really? I'm so arrogant. What can you do about it? Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows indifferently and said, I'm aiming for Team B's team leader. Don't worry. With your attitude, I'll be the first to hang you up. Wang Chaik didn't expect Xiao Chen to be so arrogant. He even dared to say such words unscrupulously. What you? Didn't you see that little Meng used to be in Team C? He offended me. I'll let him do some strenuous and unrewarding tasks. How about it? Look at him. Xiao Chen laughed and said loudly. At this time, a young man happened to pass by. It was little Meng. When he heard Xiao Chen's words, he immediately clenched his fists. He was furious. He had heard the recent rumors. Yang Jiannan had been promoted to the deputy team leader of Team B, and the leader of Team C had been decided internally to be Song Huawu. As for whether he could continue as the deputy team leader, it was already a problem. When he messed up the task, he came back to reflect on it. Until now he had not completed any tasks. Now that he heard Xiao Chen's words, he knew that he had no hope. He could not help but feel disheartened. Of course, part of it was because Yang Jiannan was targeting him. However, Little Meng also knew that he did not live up to expectations. Otherwise, why would Yang Jiannan complete the same task while he failed? He was still incompetent, so he could not blame others for messing with him. Let's wait and see. Wang Chake's face turned green. He was so angry that his whole body was trembling. However, thinking that Xiao Chun would be finished soon, he suppressed his anger and did not explode. Pang Fengde was also unbearably angry. He turned around and left with Wang Chake with the help of Ma Jisheng. You see, I told you not to come and humiliate yourself, but you insisted on coming. Wang Chake was a little depressed. Let's just implement the plan. You had to show him that you were fine. But in the end you got mocked, didn't you? Old Wang, I didn't expect this to happen either. Pang Fengde was also extremely depressed. Damn, who knew that this kid was so sharp-tongued? But he won't be jumping around for long. That's true. Two team leaders, calm down. There will be a good show soon. Ma Jisheng chuckled. And little Ma, have you arranged everything? Pang Fengde asked. Don't worry, it's all arranged. Ma Jisheng nodded. The three of them were not in a hurry. Seeing that Deputy Director Song was standing up for him, Xiao Chun was basically certain that today's matter was caused by Pang Fengde and the others. However, Xiao Chun wasn't nervous. He looked at the woman and said unhurriedly, I said, do you know me? Wow, Yang Jiannan, we have been together for 3 years. I can recognize your face even if it turns into ashes. The woman yelled. Xiao Chun laughed. The people next to him didn't know what was going on, but some people felt that something was wrong. They heard Xiao Chun continue to say, my face? I don't think I used it for long, right? As far as I know, I only changed my face a few months ago. At that time, it was only reported to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. In other words, only the people inside the Supernatural Investigation Bureau knew that my face was Yang Jiannan's. How did you know? 3 years. I used this face 3 years ago. Everyone listened to Xiao Chen's words and suddenly began to discuss. Deputy Director Song, who was on the side, seemed to feel that something was wrong. However, he didn't think much of Yang Jiannan. He was optimistic about Pang Fengde and hoped that Song Huawu and Pang Fengde would be together. Therefore, he deliberately pretended not to hear it and didn't speak. You came to me a few days ago. Why don't I know you? The woman's reaction was fast, and she explained it at once. Don't be picky with me. When I'm anxious, I slip up, and you treat it as a loophole. You have been like this for the past few months. Chapter 616. When the woman spoke, everyone believed it. After all, it was normal for a person to say something wrong in a moment of desperation. They couldn't say that this woman was a fake, so everyone continued to watch the show. Pang Fengde nodded to Ma Jisheng in appreciation and said, Xiao Ma, this woman you found is not bad. She's really smart. Haha, that's right. This is a professional model I found. She usually takes on some advertisements and supporting roles in movies. How can she not be professional? Ma Jisheng laughed. And let's continue watching. Wang Chake was very interested. Alright, stop acting. Xiao Chun saw the woman pestering endlessly, and he was too lazy to reason with her. He directly reprimanded. If you continue to pester endlessly, do you believe that I will kill you on the spot? As he spoke, Xiao Chun was about to take something from his waist. Xiao Chun's reaction made everyone suddenly stunned. What does this mean? Does he want to silence me? He actually dared to use a gun in this kind of occasion? Isn't he going to be punished? It was just that at this moment, the woman seemed to be frightened. She suddenly turned around and ran. But the direction she ran in was Xia Zhili, who was walking over here. When Xia Zhili saw that Xiao Chun was about to take out a gun, he was also shocked. Don't be impulsive. At most, this scandal would make him unable to be the leader of Team B. But there was still the position of deputy leader. If he took out a gun, then the position of deputy leader of Team B would also be ruined. This was not what he wanted to see. However, what Xia Zhili didn't expect was that the woman hugged Xia Zhili and shouted, Dear, I don't want to do it. You asked me to frame Yang Jiannan, but he wants to kill me. If this hits my stomach, what about our child? However, what Xia Zhili didn't expect was that the woman hugged him and shouted, Dear, I don't want to do it. You asked me to frame Yang Jiannan, but he wants to kill me. If this hits my stomach, what about our child? Ah, Xia Zhili was stunned, and so were the others. What was going on? Why did this woman say that the child was Xiao Chen's just a moment ago, and now it was Xia Zhili's? What's wrong with this woman? Pang Fengde frowned and looked at Ma Jisheng. However, Ma Jisheng didn't know that, and thought that he had done something very praiseworthy. He said proudly. Maybe he saw that Xiao Chen wasn't easy to frame, so he changed his mind and framed Xia Zhili? But it's all the same. These two are our targets. Bullsh *T. Pang Fengde was furious when he heard Ma Jisheng's words. He roared, Hurry up and contact that woman. Tell her not to talk nonsense. Ah, why? Ma Jisheng was a little dazed. Wasn't the effect the same as messing with Xia Zhili? At that time, Xia Zhili's reputation would be ruined, and it wouldn't be good to suggest him to take over the position of Xiao Chen. Just as Pang Fengde was about to explain, it was already too late. He saw Xia Li swing his palm and slap the woman's face, sending her flying. Ah! Xia Zhili's rage didn't arouse the disgust of the people present. Instead, everyone didn't speak and remained silent, letting Xia Zhili rage. Even the other deputy directors pretended not to see it at this time. Ma Jisheng was a little puzzled. What does this mean? Why is Xia Zhili hitting a woman crazily, and no one cares? He stood up subconsciously and said righteously, Deputy Director Xia, isn't it wrong for you to do this? No matter what, you can't hit a woman, right? Pang Fengde was shocked. He wanted to pull Ma Jisheng back. At this time, no one stood up. Naturally, there was a reason not to stand up. Aren't you going to be hated by others if you stand up and pretend to be righteous? Sure enough, Pang Fengde's reaction was a step too slow. Xia Zhili rushed over in a frenzy and gave Ma Zhili a flying kick, sending him flying into the air and crashing into the wall with a quang dang, before falling to the ground and lying on the ground. Obviously, he was already injured as he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. This horrifying scene made Xiao Chen a little dumbfounded. He didn't know what was going on. He just controlled the woman's thoughts for a while. He just wanted to make a joke. He didn't expect there to be so many chain reactions. However, why was Xia Zhili so angry that he continuously hurt people? But why didn't anyone stop him? What's going on? Xiao Chen turned his head and looked at Song Huawu. Song Huawu found it a little difficult to say it out loud. However, when she thought that she was talking to Xiao Chen, she did not mind it. She leaned close to Xiao Chen's ear and whispered, When Deputy Bureau Chief Xia was young, he was severely injured in the lower part of his body during a mission. He was incapacitated, so everyone avoided this matter. No one dared to mention it in front of him. Oh, when Xiao Chen heard it, he immediately understood. No wonder. This woman said that she was Xia Zhili's lover, and she was pregnant. Wasn't this poking at Xia Zhili's sore spot? Who among the higher-ups present didn't know about this? Probably only ordinary staff like Ma Jisheng didn't know, right? Therefore, when Xia Zhili exploded, no one dared to stop him. After all, he was injured during a mission when he was young. Even if they were enemies, they wouldn't use this as an excuse. However, Xiao Chen now understood why Xia Zhili was so passionate about power. It turned out that he had a physical defect. Weren't those eunuchs in ancient times also strangely passionate about power? Xiao Chen thought about it, and once again controlled the mind of the woman on the ground who was at a loss. He cupped his hands and said to everyone, I'm sorry. I lost control of my emotions. I will go back to rest first. Everyone continue. However, after such a mess, who was in the mood to stay here? A good fellowship party was ruined. Xiao Chen and Song Huawu naturally didn't have the mood to stay any longer. They went upstairs early. Huawu, you stay. Deputy Director Song stopped Song Huawu, who was about to leave. Ah, Instructor Song, you were looking for me? Song Huawu quickly stopped. She was a little guilty. She knew that Instructor Song's heart was actually biased towards Pang Fengde. But she was with Xiao Chun. She couldn't say that the current Yang Jiannan wasn't the previous Yang Jiannan. And come here. I want to talk to you about something. After Deputy Director Song finished speaking, he turned and walked to an empty seat not far away. Then I will go up first. Xiao Chun didn't want to put Song Huawu in a difficult position, so he said to her. N. Song Huawu nodded, and then quickly followed Instructor Song. Sitting in front of a dining table, Deputy Director Song said, Huawu, between you and Yang Jiannan? Although he didn't finish his words, he believed that Song Huawu could understand. Sure enough, Song Huawu's face turned red, and she was a little nervous. N. He and I are developing. Huawu, Yang Jiannan's character isn't good. Instructor Song said with a serious face. I know that you didn't like him before, so I didn't care about you being in the same group as him. But I didn't expect you to really agree to him. Why? You know, I have always been optimistic about Pang Fengda. I want to train him to be my successor. Chapter 6:17. Instructor, I know, but Yang Jiannan is really different from before. He has matured now and can focus on doing things. Didn't this mission explain everything? Song Huawu could only explain it this way. One success is nothing. The main thing is that his character is not good. I have long heard about him and Xia Zhili stuffing their own pockets. This person's heart is not righteous. If you follow him, you will suffer in the future. Instructor Song said. But isn't Pang Fengda's character the same? What did he do today? He found a woman to falsely accuse Yang Jiannan. Does that mean he is righteous? Song Huawu retorted with some dissatisfaction. If he does this, he will ruin the entire sorority. What should we do? You dare to talk back to me? Instructor Song was a little annoyed. Wasn't he forced? If you weren't close to Yang Jiannan, would he have made such a stupid move? Have you ever seen him like this before? Song Huawu lowered her head, feeling wronged. If you recognize me as your instructor, go and make it clear to Yang Jiannan. Don't be with him. Instructor Song said. Of course, if you don't respect me as your instructor, you can go and join Xia Zhili. Song Huawu was in a dilemma. Alright, think about it yourself. I'll leave first. Instructor Song stood up and strode away. Song Huawu looked at his back and sighed. On the one hand, she didn't want to be separated from Xiao Chun. On the other hand, she didn't want to go against Instructor Song's wishes. What should she do? One was the benefactor who had raised her, and the other was the person who had saved her life. She was grateful, and had a good impression of him. How should she choose? How should she choose? Since Instructor Song had already said this, Song Huawu knew that her ambiguous attitude wouldn't work. However, she couldn't leave Xiao Chun. Not to mention anything else, her leg belonged to Xiao Chun. Moreover, for her, Xiao Chun had razed the Claryman family to the ground. Song Huawu didn't say this, but she remembered it in her heart. Song Huawu sighed and left the dining room in a daze. She returned to her room. Xiao Chun was also a little surprised that Song Huawu didn't contact him when she came back. However, he thought that Deputy Bureau Chief Song must have said something to her. Xiao Chun didn't want Song Huawu to be in a difficult position, so he didn't take the initiative to look for her. Therefore, Xiao Chun cultivated in his room. It was just a pity that he hadn't eaten his fill tonight, and it was ruined by an unexpected incident. At about 12 o'clock in the evening, Song Huawu called. Huawu. Xiao Chun answered the call. Xiao Chun, I'm in a bad mood. Do you want to go out for a drink or two with me? Song Huawu's voice was a little gloomy. Sure. Xiao Chun just wanted to go out to eat something, so he readily agreed. He also wanted to ask what happened to Song Huawu. See you at the elevator. After Song Huawu finished speaking, she hung up the phone. Xiao Chun simply cleaned up and went out of the room. He went to the elevator and waited for Song Huawu. However, Song Huawu was a girl after all. Xiao Chun waited for more than 10 minutes before she came over. Her eyes were red, and it was obvious that she had just cried. Song Huawu rolled her eyes at Xiao Chun and said, I'm sorry. I took a cold shower. A cold shower on a cold day? Xiao Chun was stunned. It's nothing. Song Huawu obviously didn't want to say much. The elevator came, and the two of them walked in silently. Xiaochen also found that Song Huawu's mood wasn't right. If it was a normal day, she would definitely be chattering with him. But today she was very quiet. It was obviously because of Deputy Bureau Chief Song's matter. When the elevator reached the first floor, the two of them tacitly walked out of the hotel. They didn't choose the restaurant in the hotel. After all, there were people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau nearby. It wasn't good to let them see them. It wasn't that they were afraid to tell Deputy Bureau Chief Song. They obviously couldn't hide from Deputy Bureau Chief Song's eyes and ears when they came out. But Song Huawu didn't want others to see her emotions at the moment. The two of them didn't go far. There was a street near the hotel that was full of food stalls. The two of them found one, sat down, and ordered some lamb skewers and beer. When the beer was served, the lamb skewers weren't roasted yet. Song Huawu picked up the beer and gulped down a bottle. Xiaochen was really shocked. "Huawu, what are you doing?" Song Huawu didn't care about Xiaochen. After one bottle, she picked up another bottle. Xiaochen had never seen Song Huawu drink before, but he didn't expect her to have such a high alcohol tolerance. Song Huawu's expression didn't change even after 2 bottles. In fact, what Xiaochen didn't know was that drinking was also a skill of special agents. Some special missions needed to deal with people from all walks of life. At the drinking table, many things could be completed without batting an eyelid. Song Huawu was usually just unwilling to drink. At this time, the lamb skewers were served. It scared the waiter who was serving them. "What kind of volume is this? Huawu, if you have something to say, just say it. You don't have to drink like this, right?" Xiaochen saw that Song Huawu was about to pick up the 3rd bottle, and quickly stopped her. "Don't worry about me." Song Huawu suddenly rolled her eyes and said, "Who do you think you are? You're not anyone to me. Why do you care so much? Go eat your skewers." Ah. Xiaochen looked at Song Huawu's emotional words and was a little puzzled. "What did Deputy Bureau Chief Song say to you?" "Nothing, Xiaochen. Today, let's treat it as our farewell meal." Song Huawu had already made a decision. In any case, she couldn't disobey the words of Instructor Song, who had raised her. "From tomorrow onwards, we won't do missions together anymore. And we won't live together anymore. You can live by yourself in the house in Songning City." Oh, when Xiaochen heard Song Huawu's words, he suddenly felt a little disappointed. He didn't know why. Perhaps it was because he was used to Song Huawu being by his side. When she suddenly wanted to separate from him, Xiaochen couldn't accept it. However, Xiaochen also understood. He even guessed the situation. Deputy Bureau Chief Song had a problem with him, and he was the one who raised Song Huawu. It would be strange if Deputy Bureau Chief Song would let Song Huawu interact with him. However, in order to comfort Song Huawu, Xiaochen smiled and said, "If there's wine today, let's get drunk. If there's trouble tomorrow, let's worry about it tomorrow. Don't worry so much. Let's eat first." As he spoke, Xiaochen grabbed a handful of lamb skewers and stuffed them directly into his mouth. Then, he opened a bottle of beer and accompanied Song Huawu to drink. Now he also understood Song Huawu's feelings. Song Huawu must have been in a difficult situation. He didn't know how much determination she had to make this choice. It could be seen from her red and swollen eyes. She wasn't an ungrateful person, but sometimes she couldn't help it. Not far away, there was another table of guests eating. There was a person with a bandage on his head, a person with a cane, and the last one was fine. However, the 3 of them eating in such a condition was indescribably strange. They were Pang Fengda, Ma Jisheng, and Wang Chaik, who had just returned from the hospital. Isn't that Yang Jianan and Song Huawu?" Ma Jisheng's eyes were sharp. He saw Xiaochen and Song Huawu not far away at a glance. "Oh, it really is them. Why did they come here to eat at the food stall? They seem to be having a good time." Wang Chaik was a little puzzled. He didn't know that Deputy Bureau Chief Song went to look for Song Huawu, so he thought they were drinking to celebrate. "Damn, I'm so angry. I get angry when I see this kid." Pang Fengda was so angry that he was trembling. "Ma Jisheng, where did you find such an ignorant woman? Professional acting? I'm dead. Don't mention it, brother Da. Look at me, I'm also covered in bandages." Ma Jisheng was also a little helpless. "Who wants this to happen?" Pang Fengda nodded. Ma Jisheng's appearance also made him feel better. Ma Jisheng was right. Who didn't want to do this well? Ma Jisheng was also unlucky, but it wasn't intentional. Seeing that Yang Jiannan, that kid, is so cool, I really don't want to give up. Can I mess with him a little? Pang Fengda's evil intentions began to come out again. Let me think. Wang Chake narrowed his eyes and began to think of some dirty tricks. His hatred for Xiao Chun was no less than Pang Fengda and Ma Jisheng. This guy was obviously here to take over the position of Team B's team leader. Didn't he endure for so many years for the position of team leader? Now that he was suddenly contradicted by Xiao Chun, it would be strange if he could be happy. So if there was a chance to mess with Xiao Chun, he would never be lenient. The trick just now failed. But the relationship between this Yang Jiannan and Song Huo doesn't seem to be affected at all. The one just now is too fake. Pang Fengda waved his hand. It would be strange if Song Huo believed it. Fake. And I have a trick. Wang Chake's eyes turned, and he thought of another idea. What trick? Pang Fengda suddenly became interested. This time, we have to do it ruthlessly, so that Yang Jiannan can't make a comeback. The mistress and the like can only be suppressed temporarily, but if he breaks the law and commits a crime, he will never be able to make a comeback. He might even be kicked out of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Wang Chake smiled, and a trace of coldness flashed across his mouth. He was a person who liked to play dirty. He didn't kill Xiao Chun previously, because he had overestimated the young model's acting skills. However, this time, he failed to teach Xiao Chun a lesson, and it also aroused the ruthlessness and dissatisfaction in his heart. He didn't want to use these little tricks anymore. He was ready to give Xiao Chun a fatal blow, and permanently get rid of this future trouble. In for a penny, in for a pound. Breaking the law and committing a crime? What do you mean? How can we let him commit a crime? Pang Fengda didn't understand, and looked at Wang Chake inexplicably. He is originally from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, a law enforcement officer. It's difficult for you to let him commit a crime. That's true. Wang Chake smiled. He had already found a way to ruin Xiao Chun's reputation. Mistress and mistress are all voluntary. It's boring. What do you think the result will be if Yang Jiannan raped a civilian girl? Chapter 6:18. Oh. Pang Fengda, who was on the side, was not a fool. He understood it immediately and smiled. This is a good idea. You mean to let him be drunk, right? Yes, look at him drinking so much now. He will definitely be drunk in a while. Let's catch a woman first, knock her out, and put her in his room. Then, when he goes back drunk and finds a woman on the bed, he might think that it is Song Huawu. And then he. Wang Chake sneered. What do you think will happen? If it were me, I would be involuntarily. Haha, we are all men. We understand. Pang Fengda also laughed. Ma Jisheng also slapped his thigh. In order to prevent Yang Jiannan from settling this privately, let's blow this matter up tomorrow morning. We will bring the people of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to arrest him directly. Right. Isn't the deputy team leader of the monitoring group trained by team leader Wang? Let's look for him. Team leader Lu is a bit upright. I'm afraid it's not good to let him participate. Wang Chake shook his head. We don't need to let him participate at all. We will just tell the truth. When the time comes, the facts will be in front of us. Yang Jiannan will not be allowed to quibble. At that time, team leader Lu only needs to deal with it impartially. Ma Jisheng said. This is not a problem. Wang Chake nodded after listening and said, if that's the case, let's go and arrest them now. Otherwise, when Yang Jiannan and Song Huo finish drinking and go back, it won't be easy for us to make a move. Let's go. The three of them stopped eating and immediately found the boss to pay the bill. Then, they got into a business car and sped away. Song Huo drank one glass after another. Xiao Chun looked at her situation and felt that it was a bit creepy, but he still accompanied her to the end. After all, Song Huo was upset, and Xiao Chun was also a little upset. But no matter what decision Song Huo made, Xiao Chun supported her. If it was Xiao Chun, if the Elder Heaven ancestor, who had helped him a lot, asked him to do something, he probably would not refuse. This was the same logic. Therefore, Xiao Chen did not ask why, nor did he deliberately ask her to stay. He raised the bottle and said straightforwardly, "Huawu, we will still be good friends in the future. If there is anything, you can find me. Come, let me toast first." "Yes, but I can't keep in touch with you anymore." Song Huawu was also a little tipsy. She also picked up a bottle of beer and downed it. Cheers. Xiao Chen's alcohol tolerance wasn't as good as Song Huawu's. Although he was a cultivator, he was still a little drunk. Seeing that Song Huawu's vision was a little blurry, he couldn't help but say, "It's nothing. Sometimes friends don't need to be together all the time." "You're right. Come on, let's drink another bottle." Song Huawu raised another bottle of beer. The two of them went back and forth like this. God knows how many bottles they drank, and how many mutton skewers they ate. Anyway, when it came time to settle the bill, it was the boss who said how much it was. Xiao Chen didn't care. He just casually threw 1,000 yuan on the table. It was enough. The two of them supported each other, and walked back in a daze. Song Huawu said as she walked, "Xiao Chen, although we can't play together anymore, my life is yours. You can play secretly too." Xiao Chen said in a daze. The waiter looked at the two of them inexplicably. What is the relationship between this man and woman? They can actually drink so much? However, this had nothing to do with him. He happily grabbed the 1,000 yuan on the table, and gave it to the boss. "Boss, they gave 1,000 yuan. F***ck. Beer is 10 yuan a bottle, and they drank 50 bottles. Mutton skewers are 3 yuan a skewer, and they ate 200 skewers. They still lost 100 yuan. The boss couldn't help but scold. "Are you stupid?" The waiter was stunned. He didn't calculate it. At this moment he calculated it carefully. They did lose 100 yuan. At the entrance of the hotel, in a business car. "Little Ma, how's it going? Is there any problem?" Pang Fungda touched his broken right leg, and his eyes flashed fiercely. "Don't worry, brother Da. I have already asked someone to do it. The person has been caught, drugged, and placed on the bed in Yang Jiannan's room," Ma Jixing said with a smile. "And is it done by one of our own people?" Pang Fungda was a little worried. "Don't worry. It's our newcomer training group. They are all my people," Wang Chake said on the side. "But little Ma, you are the one who caught the person. Did you see it clearly? Don't let the woman come back and treat it as a one-night stand. If so, we can't frame Yang Jiannan at all." "Hee, what kind of person am I, Ma Jisheng? I have fiery eyes. Whether that chick is an innocent little virgin, I can see it at a glance." Ma Jisheng patted his chest and promised, "There will be no problem this time. It's definitely a girl from a decent family." "That's good." Wang Chake nodded and said, "But have you figured out her identity? Her family conditions aren't bad. She should be a rich lady. Her car is an Audi TT," Ma Jisheng said. "Although it's not a top sports car, her family is definitely not short of money. If Yang Jiannan wants to settle it privately, it's impossible." "That's good. As long as this girl's family doesn't let Yang Jiannan go, Yang Jiannan is finished. Being expelled from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is a light punishment. Maybe he will be sent directly to prison." Hee. After Pang Fungda listened, he smiled with satisfaction. "That's right. I messed it up before. This time, I must be careful." As Ma Jisheng said this, he took out his mobile phone, opened the photo album, and handed it to Pang Fungda. "Look, it's this girl. This is her car. Oh, let me see. Is it her?" Pang Fungda took the phone, and pointed to the photo on the phone. TSK, she looks quite beautiful. Yang Jiannan got lucky." Wang Chake also nodded. "It's really the best. It's a pity. Why don't we find a place to enjoy ourselves?" Ma Jisheng saw that both of them were interested, so he said quickly, "Enjoy my ass. Let's get down to business." Pang Fungda returned the phone to Ma Jisheng and said, "Let's go." Xiao Chun and Song Huawu got into the elevator in a daze, and then returned to his room. He only felt dizzy. He drank too much alcohol today. Opening the door, Xiao Chun didn't even turn on the light. He took off his clothes, went to bed in a daze, and fell asleep. He really didn't have the extra strength to do anything else. In a vague trance, Xiao Chen seemed to feel that something was wrong. There seemed to be another person beside him. However, Xiao Chen drank too much, and his mind wasn't very clear. In a daze, he subconsciously thought that he was still in Song Huawu's room in Songning City, and the person beside him was Song Huawu. Therefore, he didn't think much and fell asleep. Dong dong dong. Xiao Chen was awakened by a violent knocking on the door. His head was still a little painful. He drank too much yesterday, and he hadn't sobered up yet. Who is this? Knocking on the door so early in the morning. Is there a problem? Xiao Chen cursed in his heart, and opened his eyes with some difficulty. However, the first thing that came into view was the face of a sleeping woman. Who is this? Xiao Chen was suddenly stunned. Why is there another person in my room? Did I drink too much last night and go to the wrong room? However, if I went to the wrong room, how did the room card open the door? Yes, he remembered that there seemed to be a person who fell asleep next to him last night. He thought it was Song Huawu, but he didn't expect it to be otherwise. However, just as Xiao Chen was wondering, the knocking on the door became more violent, as if someone wanted to break in. Is there a problem? Are you sure no one came out last night? Not far away, the door of a room was ajar. 3 men were looking at the situation from a distance through the crack of the door. The man who asked was Pang Fengda. Don't worry. No one came out. Ma Jixing yawned. Last night, he was the one who guarded here all night to see if anyone came out of Xiao Chen's room. And that's good. Let's see how Yang Jianan dies this time. Pang Fengda smiled. Wang Chake, who was at the side, also looked like he was watching a good show. The people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau had already arrived, and the one leading them was Leader Lu. Leader Lu abhorred evil, and would definitely not tolerate Xiao Chen's tyrannical behavior. The person inside opened the door. If you don't open the door, we will force our way in. Team Leader Lu knocked for a long time, but no one opened the door. He was a little annoyed. Knock your mom. Your mom is dead. Are you ringing the funeral bell? Xiao Chen opened the door. There was a do not disturb sign on the door of his room. Who was so blind as to knock on the door crazily? Humph. Team Leader Lu snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, he got a few people behind him to restrain Xiao Chen. Then, he strode into the room, and saw the woman sleeping soundly on the bed. He frowned and said to a female subordinate, Go and examine her. Yes. The female subordinate rushed in quickly, and did a simple check on the girl on the bed. Then she said, reporting to Team Leader Lu, she was indeed drugged. She is still unconscious. Hearing the female underling's report, Team Leader Lu snorted coldly. He waved his hand and said, Take Yang Jianan away for me. Little Wu, wait for the victim to wake up, and take her to make a statement. Yes. Little Wu and the men who were holding Xiao Chen responded at the same time. Who are you? What do you mean? Xiao Chen was still a little confused. He had not woken up from this series of shocks. I was sleeping well, and Team Leader Lu rushed in to take me away. Is there something wrong with him? Be honest. I am Lu Zhanlong, the deputy team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's monitoring team. You are suspected of being drugged. Now go back with me for investigation. Team Leader Lu said resolutely. What? Drugged? Who am I drugged? Xiao Chen was a little stunned. Chapter 619. Who? Isn't the thing on your bed the evidence? Team Leader Lu shouted. You still dare to deny it? What nonsense are you talking about? Xiao Chen was a little annoyed. Get lost. How would I know when she came? Are you crazy? Can you use your brain when doing things? Am I crazy? Can I do this kind of thing in the fellowship party? Although Xiao Chen was annoyed, he also felt that something was wrong. He went back to his room in a daze yesterday, and fell asleep. When did this woman come? Coincidentally, she came. The next morning, this team leader Lu came to arrest him. Who told him this? Who tipped him off? However, yesterday, he went to drink with Song Huawu. It was an impromptu decision. Xiao Chen didn't believe that Song Huawu framed him. In his opinion, only Pang Fengda, Ma Jisheng, and Wang Chake could do this kind of thing. Did Pang Fengda ask you to come? Xiao Chen asked after he figured it out. Be honest. Don't talk nonsense. Team leader Lu simply ignored Xiao Chen. He waved his hand and said to his men, "Take him away. If he dares to resist, kill him directly." "Yes." The few men responded. Then they pushed Xiao Chun and said, "Hurry up and go. Don't look." Xiao Chun frowned. With the strength of these people in front of him, it was easy to kill them. But if he really killed them, then he couldn't stay in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau anymore. He had to run away again, and his identity as Yang Jiannan would be abolished. Therefore, Xiao Chun had no choice but to go with them first and figure out what was going on. Xiao Chun was taken to a dark basement of the hotel. This room had no windows. It was originally built as a storage place for the hotel's computer room, transformer room, and other facilities. But it was not used at the moment. It was empty, and Lu Zhanlong used it as a temporary interrogation room. After entering the basement, Xiao Chun was arranged to sit on a broken wooden chair, while the other people who escorted him blocked the door like tigers watching their prey. They were afraid that Xiao Chun would run away, and some of them even took out their guns. After a while, Lu Zhanlong came. Behind him stood a stunned girl with disheveled hair, and the female subordinate. These people passed by the door of the basement room, but they didn't come in. Instead, they went to another basement. At the moment when the girl passed by Xiao Chun's room, Xiao Chun only felt that the girl looked familiar, but he forgot where he had seen her. He didn't have such a feeling before, but now he couldn't see clearly because of her hair. But after passing by, Xiao Chun suddenly remembered something. But because he had just woken up, he couldn't remember anything. Obviously, Lu Zhanlong didn't only want to interrogate Xiao Chun first, but he wanted to ask the girl first. He wanted to find a breakthrough from the girl. The girl rubbed her head in a daze and was helped to a dark basement. She suddenly woke up and shouted, "Help! There are bad guys! Help me!" Lu Zhanlong was a little speechless. Why was he regarded as a bad guy? The female subordinate next to him quickly pulled the girl and said, "Don't shout. We are not bad guys. We are the good guys who saved you. This is my ID. You can take a look." The girl was stunned. She looked at the ID handed over by the female subordinate, but she was a little puzzled. She said, "What ID is this? Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Is this a civilian exploration organization?" "Of course not. We are a relatively mysterious department. You can think of it as a special agent. In addition, I also have a military identity. This is my other ID." The female subordinate gave her other ID to the girl. The girl took a look and was a little surprised. "Are you making fake ID? Why are there two IDs? What else do you have?" The female subordinate suddenly had black lines on her head. She said, "You were kidnapped, and then you were drugged. Don't you know? Why are you still asking this and that? We just rescued you." "Ah, yes, I just parked the car yesterday and got off. I saw someone coming from behind me in the rearview mirror and covered my mouth with something. I don't know anything. Then I found myself lying in bed this morning and was woken up by you," the girl recalled. "So, I seem to have been kidnapped." Lu Zhanlong nodded and then said to the female subordinate, "Okay, write it down. But I don't seem to have any injuries on my body. I didn't get drugged. My lower body doesn't hurt at all?" The girl was a little puzzled. "Are you mistaken?" Lu Zhanlong was stunned by the girl's tough words. He suddenly had black lines on his head. "If it wasn't your first time, of course it wouldn't hurt." "Nonsense, I didn't before," the girl said angrily. "You must be the liars. Let me go. What I said just now was a lie. Goodbye." As she spoke, the girl was about to get up and rush out. She was quickly pulled back by the female subordinate. "Miss, calm down. Are you drugged? You can go to the hospital for a checkup later. You are a miss. Your whole family is a miss. I won't go for a checkup." The girl was even more furious. "Let me go. I'm from the Wang family. If you catch me, my father won't let you go." Wang family? Lu Zhanlong's face suddenly changed. Could this person be the young miss of the Wang family? This time, Yang Jiannan was in big trouble. Even the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would be implicated. "We'll take you to identify someone. See if he kidnapped you yesterday and then hurry up." The girl saw that she couldn't leave, so she could only nod helplessly. However, her mouth was indeed pouting in anger. At this time, there was a noise outside. Then it was the sound of two people arguing. Listening carefully, it was actually Xia Zhili and Deputy Bureau Chief Song. Both of them were Deputy Bureau Chiefs, but they were arguing here. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, why do you think that Yang Jiannan was framed? You came here to command the release of people. This is overstepping your authority. You are not in charge of the supervisory group. Deputy Bureau Chief Song said angrily. He also received the news that Yang Jiannan's drugged girl was arrested early in the morning. He was immediately very happy. In this way, he didn't need to say anything to Song Huawu. It was impossible for Song Huawu to be with Yang Jiannan. He immediately thought that Xia Zhili might obstruct the investigation. So he rushed over immediately. As expected, he saw that Xia Zhili was also there. In the interrogation room, he sternly ordered the supervisory group's subordinates to let go. Song Billion, that has nothing to do with you. You are in charge of the newcomer training group. Xia Zhili said, Yang Jiannan is my subordinate. How can I not care? I believe him, and I also have reason to suspect that someone is framing him. Yesterday, Yang Jiannan was just framed, and a similar thing happened at night. I suspect that this was done by Pang Fengda. I also request that Pang Fengda be taken away for investigation. This is his revenge. You. Song Billion was furious and glared at Xia Zhili. Xia Zhili had to protect Yang Jiannan. In the past, Yang Jiannan only had some relationship with him, so he didn't pay much attention to him. After all, it would be the same no matter who it was. However, it was different now. Yang Jiannan was very capable. He heard that he single-handedly destroyed the Claryman family in Lego Town. How glorious was that? It really promoted the power of the great Xia agents in front of outsiders. Xia Zhili also took advantage of that, and was promoted step by step. Because he had become a eunuch, he didn't have any other pursuits. He desperately plundered for the sake of cultivation, or for the sake of promotion. He really wasn't interested in anything else. Now that Yang Jiannan was so powerful, if he made some more contributions, it wouldn't be a problem for him to fight for the position of Deputy Bureau Chief. Therefore, he had to desperately protect Yang Jiannan. Originally, he and Deputy Bureau Chief Song didn't have any big conflicts. But this time, they directly fell out. What about you? What I said makes sense, right? Xia Zhili sneered and said, Alright, if you have the guts, find that girl and confront her. I don't believe that this matter was caused by Yang Jiannan. As the two of them were arguing, Song Huawu and Xia Shibin also came. They stood not far away, and were a little shocked, especially Song Huawu. She was very puzzled. How did Xiao Chun get involved in such a matter? She didn't think that Xiao Chun would go after a girl. It would be fine if there were no beauties at home. She, Song Huawu, had slept beside Xiao Chun for so long and nothing had happened. Chapter 620. N. Tianfang Wang family? Xia Zhili's face suddenly changed. Although the Tianfang Wang family was also one of the real martial families, and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wasn't afraid of them. They weren't an ordinary real martial family. This was a branch of the Wulin family, so it was different. Although the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's headquarters were also in Tianfang province, they didn't interfere with the Wang family. Sometimes they even helped each other. However, why didn't the Wang family's Missy know about the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Seeing Xia Zhili being defeated, Song Billion was very refreshed. He sneered, Some people, the more they jump around, the faster they die. Take a look. Do you know him? Lu Zhanlong brought the girl to the door of the basement room where Xiao Chun was. He pointed at Xiao Chun and asked, Look carefully. I know him. The girl looked carefully and was immediately overjoyed. How is it? Lu Zhanlong's heart relaxed. Then he sneered. Okay, lock Yang Jiannan up, and then take this girl to the hospital for a checkup. Investigate her identity, make a detailed statement, communicate with her family, and then hand Yang Jiannan over to the local judicial department. Brother Xiao, why are you here? Were you also caught by these bad guys? Lan Xinxin saw Xiao Chun and was very happy. She rushed to Xiao Chun's side. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau's men didn't expect the girl to dare to rush inside. After all, they were people who liked her. It was good that she wasn't afraid, so they didn't put up any defenses. Lan Xinxin. Xiao Chen finally remembered who this girl was. It was actually the 36B Lan Xinxin on the plane. No wonder she looked familiar. It was just that her hair was disheveled, and it was just a flash, so he didn't see it clearly. Brother Xiao, are you okay there? Can you still use it? I've been worried about you these days. Let me help you check it. These days, Lan Xinxin had been thinking about Xiao Chen's matter. She wasn't a scheming person. Once she had something on her mind, she would always be depressed and unable to let it go. She was afraid that if she was not careful, she would harm Xiao Chen for the rest of his life. However, she couldn't contact Xiao Chen. She added Xiao Chen's Weixin, but Xiao Chen didn't let her pass the verification. Just as she was worrying about it, she finally met Xiao Chen. The troubles of the past few days were suddenly released. She didn't care much, and reached out to pull Xiao Chen's crotch. This scene made everyone dumbfounded. What was the relationship between these two people? It didn't seem like a rape. Instead, they looked like a couple flirting. Otherwise, why would this girl make such a bold move? She even wanted to check Yang Jiannan's crotch. Wasn't this something that only a very close couple would do? This situation made Lu Zhanlong dumbfounded. However, Xia Zhili immediately reacted and shouted, Lu Zhanlong, you're abusing your power. They're clearly boyfriend and girlfriend. Your boyfriend and girlfriend eating some drugs to liven things up is called MX? Are you bullying me because I'm crippled and don't understand? But I've read a lot of books. Lu Zhanlong's eyes widened, but he didn't dare to refute. He knew that if he dared to refute, he would probably be kicked away by Xia Zhili. As long as it involved Xia Zhili's problem, Xia Zhili would explode. And even if Xia Zhili exploded, even the director wouldn't say anything. These years, Xia Zhili had been working hard to plunder cultivation resources for cultivation. In fact, the director might not really know about this. It was just that he had made great contributions when he was young. His body was disabled, he didn't have any other thoughts, and he didn't have any children. He only had a little pursuit on the path of martial arts, so he turned a blind eye to it. Otherwise, even if Xia Zhili wasn't fired, he wouldn't be promoted. Everyone was well aware of this. Xia Zhili's problem was his reverse scale. Whoever touched it would die. Only an acquaintance can do it. Song Billion saw that things were going bad. He vaguely knew that this matter might have been caused by Pang Fengde, so he had to stand up and suppress Yang Jiannan. You see, although they know each other, it might not be an acquaintance. If you don't believe me, you can ask them if they are in a relationship. Are you in a relationship? Lu Zhanlong's eyes lit up as if he had grasped something, and immediately asked. No. What's going on with you? Why are you asking so many questions? Let us go. Lan Xinxin was a little impatient. Haha. Song Billion laughed and said, you are not in a relationship. Yesterday, you were drugged and captured by him to sleep in the same bed with you. Do you know that? Do you still think of him as a friend? You've been deceived. That's right. Lu Zhanlong nodded. So Yang Jiannan hasn't been cleared of suspicion. We must start the investigation now. All right, separate them and take them away separately for investigation. Song Billion said with a wave of his hand. Song Huawu saw that the situation wasn't good. Although she didn't know what the relationship between Xiao Chen and the girl in front of her was. If this continued, it would be disadvantageous to Xiao Chen. Instructor Song and Pang Fengde obviously wanted to kill Xiao Chen. When the time came, they would really have no choice but to forge some evidence. Especially when she heard that this girl was from the Wang clan. She was even more worried. Even if nothing happened, rumors would spread in the end. For the sake of face, the Wang clan would have to settle the score with Xiao Chen. This was basically a plan that failed. Wait a minute. Although Song Huawu knew that if she stood up, Instructor Song might be unhappy, she still stood up. She couldn't watch Xiao Chen be framed. She could not be close to Xiao Chen, not carry out missions with Xiao Chen, or even ignore Xiao Chen. She could listen to Instructor Song, but she knew that Xiao Chen was not in the wrong, and still wanted to frame him. That was definitely not acceptable. Oh, Team Leader Song, what's the matter? Lu Zhanlong looked at Song Huawu. He didn't know which side Song Huawu was on. Those who understood would know that Song Huawu was from the newcomer group. But recently, she had been very close to Yang Jiannan. In any case, Song Huawu was the newly appointed team leader of Team C. Lu Zhanlong had to give her some face. Last night, Yang Jiannan and I were drinking and eating mutton skewers. He didn't have the time to commit the crime. There should be a video of the hotel lobby. We went out together, came back together, and were together the whole time. Song Huawu said. As for how this girl ran into Yang Jiannan's room, I just want to see the surveillance video. This, Lu Zhanlong was shocked. He had a preconceived idea that Xiaochen was guilty, but after listening to Song Huawu's solemn vow, he was a little uncertain. What if they caught the wrong person? Although he was impartial, he was also a person who cared about his reputation. After hesitating for a moment, he looked at Song Bilian, wanting to see what he had to say. Huawu, don't get involved in this kind of thing. I have just asked. There was something wrong with the surveillance yesterday. It's all broken. Song Bilian waved his hand and said, I know that you two used to be in a relationship, but now that you have broken up, you don't have to protect him. Don't be emotional. After listening to Song Bilian's words, Lu Zhanlong was relieved. Since it was emotional, it was a one-sided cover-up. However, it was a bit amazing that the surveillance was broken. Lu Zhanlong planned to retrieve the surveillance video as evidence later. Pang Fengda, who was far away, was shocked. He didn't expect the hotel's surveillance. Although it was done secretly yesterday, it definitely couldn't escape from the hotel's surveillance. He didn't often stay in this hotel, so he didn't know that there was a surveillance camera in the hotel corridor. Now listening to Song Bilian, it must have been destroyed. He felt lucky in his heart, but he was even happier. It seemed that Song Bilian was on his side. Now listening to what he said, Xiao Chun and Song Huawu had broken up. Then he had a great opportunity. However, looking at Song Huawu's appearance, she still had feelings for Xiao Chun. This time he must kill Xiao Chun. He must not be lenient. The most important thing was that Song Bilian also supported him. Then, he was even more assured and bold. What nonsense are you talking about? I know him. Are you crazy? Even if he ked me, I was willing to do it. At this moment, Lan Xinxin opened her mouth. She was suffocated. These people chattered nonstop. She was about to die of annoyance. When the two of us came, we took the same plane. On the plane, I made an appointment with him to test him, whether that part of his is good or not. Aren't you guys being too nosy? Why are you controlling everything? Can't we have a date? Xiao Chen suddenly broke into a sweat. This Lan Xinxin was really heartless. She could say anything. However, thinking about her behavior on the plane, he knew that she was a heartless person. She dared to jump out with any words. This was even more so when she was anxious. Song Huawu was also a little shocked. This woman. She knew Xiao Chen on the plane? At this time, Xia Shibin also stood up and said, Yes, I can testify that Group Leader Yang also helped Miss Lan catch two liars. Group Leader Yang saved the beauty, and Miss Lan secretly agreed. She had long wanted to devote herself to him. If you don't believe me, you can investigate the records on the plane. This, Lu Zhanlong didn't know what to do. If it was really as Lan Xinxin said, then nothing would happen to Xiao Chen. You can control the heavens and the earth. But you can control people's dating? Moreover, they are unmarried. You can't say that there is a problem with their style, right? Song Bilian had already said that Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu had broken up. It was reasonable for Yang Jiannan to find a new lover. However, he was a little nosy. No, even if this woman agreed subjectively, she was drugged. This is also considered a drug. Even if it's not easy to convict her, it also proves that Yang Jiannan has bad intentions. He must accept internal punishment. Song Bilian saw that things were going bad. He couldn't beat Xiao Chun to death with a stick, so he immediately jumped out and said, Chapter 621. I ate barbecue with Song Huawu yesterday. The barbecue shop staff, and the boss can prove it. At this time, Xiao Chen also calmed down. This matter was most likely caused by Pang Fengda. But isn't this Song Bilian too despicable? He actually helped Pang Fengde to do this kind of thing. In his opinion, someone who could cultivate Song Huawu, who was loyal to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and was upright and just should be a broad-minded person. He didn't expect him to be a villain. Now it seemed that this guy was even more sinister than Xia Zhili. At least Xia Zhili wouldn't play dirty. He desperately snatched resources because he had a physical defect. He was disabled for the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. At most, his mentality was a bit extreme. However, Song Billion was simply shameless. He was distorting the truth. Oh, then let's find them to confirm it. Although Lu Zhanlong felt that if the case was reversed, he might lose face, but his personal face still succumbed to the thoughts of justice. Song Billion's face changed, but he couldn't stop it. He could only hope that the barbecue shop owner would forget about it. After all, there were many customers every day. It was normal to forget. Yes, team leader Yang, what barbecue shop is it? The underling also noticed the change in the situation at this time. And he was respectful to Xiao Chen. It's called 123 Barbecue Food Stall, said Xiao Chen. Okay. The subordinate accepted the order and left quickly. Brother Xiao, who are these people? Why are they falsely accusing you? Why are there so many liars and bad people in this world? Lan Xinxin was a little tired of it. Can I go now? You can go in a while. Xiao Chen nodded to her, indicating that she shouldn't be in a hurry. Okay. I didn't go back last night. My parents should be worried about me. Lan Xinxin was shocked and exclaimed. It's okay. It will be quick. Xiao Chen said with a smile. Even if the barbecue shop owner couldn't confirm it, this matter wouldn't have much to do with Xiao Chen. Not long after, the barbecue shop owner and the staff were found. Lu Zhanlong glanced at them and asked, Do you know this person? As he spoke, he pointed to Xiao Chen and reminded, Look carefully. This is a serious matter. Oh, the boss yawned. He had slept very late last night. They were all food stalls that operated at night, so they did not rest for long before they were woken up. Naturally, he was still a little dazed. His head was a little swollen as he replied blankly, I don't know him. Haha, Song Billion laughed proudly. How is it? Yang Jiannan, do you have anything else to say? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. He didn't expect the boss to say that. However, looking at the boss's squinting eyes, Xiao Chen suspected that the boss didn't look at it at all, and said that subconsciously. This made him a little annoyed. He couldn't help but say angrily, I gave you 1,000 yuan yesterday. Did you forget? Xiao Chen's words didn't wake the boss up. Instead, the shop assistant on the side was startled. He opened his eyes wide and looked up and down at Xiao Chen. He shouted, it's him. Boss, it's him. He gave us 100 yuan less yesterday. Kid, hurry up and pay up. Because of you, I was scolded by the boss yesterday. What? When the boss heard that he had money, he suddenly became sober. He looked at Xiao Chen, and then looked at Song Huawu. He said, Yes, it's this kid. He took 100 bottles of beer and 200 mutton skewers from me. And he only gave me 1,000 yuan. It's obviously 1,100 yuan. Hurry up and pay up. Ah, Xiao Chen was stunned. Your beer is so expensive? Nonsense, this is a high-end one. The boss rolled his eyes and said, Yesterday, the lady took this herself. There was a 2 yuan bottle next to her. But she didn't take it. Later, I saw you drinking it, so I served this. I thought you knew. Well, I'm sorry. As Xiao Chen said this, he took out 200 yuan from his pocket and handed it to the boss. He said, The extra 100 yuan is interest. Hee, that's not bad. The boss accepted it with a smile. Looking at these people in front of him echoing each other, Lu Zhanlong also understood what was going on. Xiao Chen and Song Huawu did eat there for a night. And because he gave 100 yuan less, this guy remembered it very clearly. Now he could be sure that there was no problem with Xiao Chen. However, why is there a problem with this video? Although Yang Jiannan can be temporarily eliminated as a suspect, it can't be guaranteed that he ordered his men to do it. So, I think it's still necessary to study the video. Lu Zhanlong said, This video can't all be broken, right? I saw some of them. They are wireless and use memory cards as a medium. These shouldn't be broken, right? This. Song Billion was shocked and immediately said, There's no need. Since the parties don't want to pursue it, we don't need to trouble ourselves. Everyone can disperse. Team leader Lu, this time it's hard on you. But you see, these two parties said, that kind of relationship. Why do we care so much? They might have taken the drug to liven things up. Young people nowadays are very crazy. It's common to do things like SM. Let's not bother about it. Then forget it. Xiajili didn't want to cause more trouble. He waved his hand and said, everyone can disperse. Since the two deputy bureau chiefs had spoken in unison, Lu Zhanlong couldn't insist. Moreover, he now thought that Xiao Chen was innocent. He didn't want to care about this anymore. Thinking of this, he nodded and said, I'm sorry, Team Leader Yang. I wronged you before. It's nothing. You were also used as a tool. I don't blame you. Xiao Chen said with a wave of his hand. Lu Zhanlong nodded and left with his people. Song Bilian glanced at Song Huawu and shouted, what are you looking at? Hurry up and go. Oh. Song Huawu nodded and followed Song Bilian. As for Xiao Chen, he looked at Lan Xinxin strangely. Why are you here? Why are you so careless? Can you blame me for that? I parked the car, and I was caught. This kind of random event with a small probability. Whoever encounters it will be unlucky. There are so many people who are kidnapped. Who would want to be kidnapped? Lan Xinxin was also a little depressed. Right, it's fine now. Tell me the truth. Last night, did you find that it didn't work? Was it broken by me? Ah, Xiao Chen was stunned. Then why didn't you do anything to me? It must be broken, right? Although Lan Xinxin was a bit careless, she wasn't stupid. If it were someone else, she wouldn't be so concerned. But the crisp kacha sound on the plane made her a little worried. It was definitely not good. Xiao Chen didn't seek medical treatment in time. How could there not be a problem? Therefore, she had been thinking about this matter. Brother Xiao, you can't hide your illness for fear of treatment. This isn't shameful. How about I accompany you to the hospital and say that we were too crazy, so it broke. Let's see if it can be cured. Lan Xinxin said with a serious face. Her words, with this expression, made Xiao Chen feel that it was so funny. However, Xiao Chen still said, Sister, let me go. I'm really fine. Okay, hurry home. Your parents are still worried about you. Oh. Then if you have something, you must contact me. Lan Xinxin remembered that she had to go home quickly. After she finished speaking, she hurried out. Xiao Chen shook his head helplessly and turned to go upstairs. Brother Yang, this matter must be caused by Pang Fengda. We can't just let it go. Xia Shibin said with hatred. Xiao Chen nodded. If Pang Fengda was still jumping up and down, Xiao Chen didn't mind finding a chance to kill him. He originally wanted this guy to die on the horse. Xiao Chen didn't believe that this person was so loyal to Song Huawu that he wouldn't look for other women. However, because the Sun family died on the horse, many people knew that it was Xiao Chen who did it. Therefore, in order to avoid exposure, Xiao Chen didn't do it. But it didn't mean that he couldn't think of other deceptive means. Pang Fengda's face was pale as he stood in a room. Sitting in front of him was Song Bilian. At this moment, Song Bilian had already scolded Pang Fengda. You idiot, can't you use your brain? What did I teach you in the beginning? You have to plan before you act. Impulsiveness is the devil. Yes. Pang Fengda lowered his head. He was indeed impulsive and blinded by hatred. However, Instructor Song, you said before that we have to be courageous in doing things. It's right to be courageous, but it's stupid to die for no reason. Song Bilian said. Your plan seems to be flawless, but in fact it's full of loopholes. First, you didn't think of the monitoring problem. Second, you didn't investigate this woman's background carefully. You didn't know that she knew Yang Jiannan. Third, you shouldn't have chosen to act when Yang Jiannan was drunk. He really didn't do anything last night. Yes, I know I was wrong. Pang Fengda lowered his head and said carefully. And it's good that you know you're wrong. What are you going to do next? Song Bilian asked. I'll keep a low profile first and hide. I'll wait for an opportunity to counterattack. I can't let Yang Jiannan find evidence that I did it before. I won't leave anything behind. Pang Fengda said. Idiot. Song Bilian said angrily. You don't know how to take advantage of such a good opportunity. How did I teach you? You're so excellent and smart in other things. How can you be so stupid when it comes to your own matters? Ah, then Pang Fungda was stunned. What you should do now is take advantage of the situation, Song Billion said. Now we know that the woman is from the Wang family. Do you still need me to tell you what to do next? Pang Fungda suddenly slapped his thigh. He suddenly saw the light. As long as we spread the news that Yang Jiannan slept with that woman last night, the Wang family will naturally come looking for trouble with Yang Jiannan. Chapter 622. That's right. Song Billion nodded. But, if the woman explains it clearly, and goes back to check and finds that she wasn't violated, then Pang Fungda was still a little worried. Tianfang Wang family, hee. Don't forget the character of the Wang family. You can tell just by looking at the little girl's character. Their family may be genetically inherited, or it may be a coincidence. The current family head is also a person who is a little reckless. Song Billion smiled and said, even if they don't find trouble with Yang Jiannan, for the sake of the Tianfang Wang family's reputation, they must have an explanation. Seeing that the little girl likes Yang Jiannan, they must let Yang Jiannan marry her. Ha, wonderful. Pang Fungda was suddenly overjoyed. Instructor Song is amazing. Otherwise, why would you be my instructor? In this way, Yang Jiannan married a member of the Tianfang Wang family. According to the rules of our Supernatural Investigation Bureau, important personnel like us can't be too close to a certain family. Then, Yang Jiannan must resign. Even if Xia Zhili interfered, Yang Jiannan could keep his position, but he couldn't go any further. The position of Team B would fall to his friend Wang Chaik, and Song Huo couldn't deal with the married Yang Jiannan anymore. Even if Song Huo was willing, the Tianfang Wang family wouldn't be willing. Do you know what to do next? Song Billion nodded and said, I understand, Instructor Song. Don't worry. I will definitely do it properly this time. Pang Fungda nodded and walked out of the room quickly. If the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wanted to convey any news at the family level, it was very fast. In less than 2 hours, every family in Tianfang province spread the news that the granddaughter of the Tianfang Wang family's family head, Wang Tietio, was slept with. Moreover, it was the deputy team leader of Team B of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. This news was very explosive. How would the Wang family and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau react? After Lan Xinxin returned home, she took a shower and rested. Although the family was very curious about her disappearance for a night, if she didn't say anything, they wouldn't ask. Lan Xinxin's position in the Wang family was very strange. That was Lan Xinxin was born from the lover of Wang Benben, the son of Wang Tietio. Wang Benben's lover was always ill, so Wang Benben naturally didn't pamper her much. All these years, he basically just greeted her and didn't show any other care, let alone staying overnight. According to the rules of the Wang family, this woman was definitely not allowed to enter the family. However, there was an exception. The patriarch, Wang Tietio, was very fond of Lan Xinxin, his granddaughter. He felt that Lan Xinxin had inherited his traits and was a straightforward person. Therefore, Lan Xinxin and her mother were brought into the Wang family. Otherwise, with Grandpa's character, he would definitely look for her. Girlfriend? Nonsense. Wang Tietio was suddenly furious. Xinxin, how can you lie to Grandpa? Grandpa has already found out. It's a man. And he's the deputy leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team B. Am I right? Lan Xinxin was dumbfounded. She didn't expect Grandpa's information channels to be so well informed. In the blink of an eye, he knew everything. Of course, she didn't know that someone deliberately spread this rumor. Otherwise, no matter how well informed Wang Tietio was, he wouldn't know about this. Now, you actually dare to lie to Grandpa for a man? Wang Tietio widened his eyes and looked at Lan Xinxin, making Lan Xinxin a little worried. However, he changed the topic and said, Since you're already sleeping, what are you afraid of? The children of our Wang family have to be responsible for what we do. Now, immediately find that person called Yang Jiannan and discuss your marriage. What? Lan Xinxin was stunned. She didn't expect Grandpa to let her marry Xiaochang. She thought that they were just good friends now. Grandpa, you don't have to worry about my matters. What are you talking about? How can I not worry about it? Bullshit, how can I not worry about it? Now, the outside world is saying that my Wang Tietio's granddaughter was slept with by someone. If I don't quickly settle your matters, wouldn't I be ridiculed? Wang Tietio shouted. All right, run. You immediately run forward and find that Yang Jiannan. Then discuss your marriage with Xinxin. Dad, isn't this a bit hasty? Our Wang family is also a reputable family. At least, we need to find someone of equal status. Wang Benpei's original intention was to betroth Lan Xinxin to his friend's son. But he didn't expect this to happen. Vulsh *T. Is your head full of *T? Xinxin is a girl. She was slept with by someone. Why do you care so much? Wang Tietio glared and said, her reputation is gone. Why do you still need someone of equal status? Besides, isn't the leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's team be fine too? Alright. Wang Benpei didn't dare to refute. He felt that this matter was too strange. His father was too *King reckless. He didn't care about the truth at all. Besides, which girl in a big family didn't have a lot of fun before marriage? At that time, they could still find a big family for the sake of family benefits. This was especially so for a powerful family like the Wang family, which also had a backer in the martial arts world, so they were even more sought after. However, he did not dare to disobey. He was really a little depressed. In the past, when second uncle was the master of the family, he was even more powerful than now. Second uncle was a man with brains, so he naturally liked people with brains. He was valued by second uncle and entrusted with important tasks. He knew that Wang Benben came to find him, because he and Lan Xinxin slept together. But he couldn't not go. He followed Wang Benben all the way down the stairs and got into his Audi A8. This was not a car that martial artists liked to drive. Martial artists generally liked domineering off-road vehicles, or sports cars that pursued speed. This kind of stable luxury car was probably only Wang Benben liked it. The Wang family was a big family in Tianfang province. On the edge of the city, there was a super large manor that belonged to the Wang family. It was similar to the Shun family that Xiaochen had visited before, but the Wang family was bigger. Along the way, Wang Benben drove and didn't talk to Xiaochen. Naturally, Xiaochen didn't take the initiative to talk. Instead, he sat on the side and was neither servile nor overbearing. Wang Benben felt that this young man was good, although it was a pity that Lan Xinxin couldn't marry the son of his friend. Yang Jiannan was also a talented person. He also knew when to advance and when to retreat. If the Wang family trained him, even if he couldn't be promoted to the next level in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, his power would increase. Thinking of this, Wang Benben was a little relieved. The car drove into the manor and stopped at the door of a villa. He said, "We're here. Get off the car. I will take you to see my father. Don't talk nonsense later. My father has a bad temper." "Yes, thank you, Uncle Wang." Xiaochen nodded. Wang Benben led the way in front, and Xiaochen followed behind. The two of them entered the villa one after another. Seeing someone coming in, Wang Tietio ran directly over. When he saw the person behind his son, he suddenly pointed and said, "Boy, you are Yang Jiannan. Are you the one who slept with my granddaughter?" Pooh! Xiaochen almost choked to death by his own saliva. "Old man Wang, where did you get this from? When did that your granddaughter? You still don't admit it?" Xinxin has admitted it. Wang Tietio's eyes stared at Xiaochen. "You say it. When are you two getting married? Pick a day. My Wang family is also a prestigious family. We must pay attention to extravagance. Old man Wang, this matter. Do you think there is a misunderstanding? Why don't you call Xinxin out and ask her?" Xiaochen was a little depressed. "Did they ask me to force a marriage?" "There's no need to ask. That silly girl will definitely speak for you. She doesn't even know that she suffered a loss. In this family I have the final say. I already represent her." Old man Wang waved his hand and said, Yang Jiannan, you give me a definite answer now. When are you getting married? Don't think about reneging on the debt. There are not so many good things in this world. It's impossible for you to do that. Old Man Wang, listen to me first. Xiao Chen was speechless because of Old Man Wang's loud voice. I can't do anything about it. If you don't want to die, listen to him. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. It seemed that Wang Benbin had no right to speak at all. After being sent out of the door, Wang Benbin didn't drive again, which made Xiao Chen very depressed. He could only run back. There wasn't even a taxi here, so he turned into Xiao Chen. After running a few steps, Xiao Chen took out his mobile phone and dialed Wang Benbin's number. Hey, boss, what's the matter? Wang Benbin picked up the phone. Where did you go a few days ago? Why didn't you come back after you left? Are you still in Songning? No, I'm in Tianfang province. Let me ask you, do you have a sister named Lan Xinxin? Asked Xiao Chen. Hey, how did you know? Wang Benbin was stunned and suddenly said excitedly. Did you see her? Isn't she very beautiful? I told you that I would introduce my sister to you, and you wouldn't pursue that Xin Jingxian. You didn't want to do it. Now you know how beautiful my sister is, right? Xiao Chen thought about it. Wang Benbin really said something like this before. I saw her, but I'm also in trouble. What? What trouble? Wang Benbin didn't understand. It's like this. Xiao Chen didn't hide anything from Wang Benbin. He started talking about 36B on the plane, until he was forced to marry by the Wang family. If that's the case, then boss, I can't speak for you this time. On the plane, you discussed such a private topic with my sister, and then you slept on the same bed. Then marry her. Wang Benbin changed his usual support for Xiao Chen, and suddenly changed his tone. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.